to Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM, Rachakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and the sincere. Shalom to the Hakim that's out there pushing the sincerity and the truth and the sound doctrine. It's going to be a real quick video, man. I'm going over a little bit of 2nd Ezra 7. All right. About the troubles and the things that we're going to go through, man. Now, we know in the scriptures it says what? That the Lord is not going to give us anything, that's above our strength. He's not going to challenge us, give us any, a challenge that's above our strength that we can't handle. All right. So always remember, and this goes for me too, man. Always remember, whatever challenges that you have, the Lord, there's always a way out. The Lord always makes a way out because, again, it's not above your strength. This is why, certain people have different, I guess you could say, hells. You know what I'm saying? Have different foes and different woes to go through, man. All right. So, there's in these situations, right? This is why you run to the Lord. All right. Whenever Israel went off, and the Lord put another nation to oppress, set up another nation to oppress Israel. What did Israel do? They cried to the Lord, and the Lord heard their prayers. Okay, so the Lord wants you to, run to Him for help. He said, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help." Don't rely on Egypt. Rely on the Lord, man. Rely on the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, man, for help. Okay. So this is going to be a really quick video. Nothing very long. I'm going to start at 2nd Ezra chapter 4. I'm going to hit maybe a few key points here in this chapter, but up here is the main point. Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 7. Now, when you go into this, it talks about a straight gate. A straight gate, right? Very narrow. Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 4. I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, "But the case, the entrance," it says, "But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it, and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad?" So what is it saying, man? All right. Don't look for free handouts. Okay, if you claim to be an Israelite, right, and you want all these accolades and all this recognition and stuff like that, right? First off, you got to work your way up to that. But that's not what this thing is about. When you come into this thing, you better expect some serious shit, pretty much. Expect betrayal. You know what I'm saying? Expect people not to like you. You know what I'm saying? Expect all of that, man. You should really expect that in the world, to be honest. But especially when you come into this thing, you really have to expect that stuff, man. Right? Expect people not to like you. Expect family and friends to betray you. Right? See, people when they look at this, they don't look at that, man. They say, yeah, man, they look good out there cursing out people and stuff like that. Man, we ain't out there just to curse out people, man. All right, you gotta really look at that. You out there for edification, and when you come into this thing, people ain't gonna like you, right? Blessed are they that when the world separates you from their company. It said blessed when you're blessed when that happens. Okay, you're blessed when that happens, right? So it says here you have to go through the trouble to get to the reward that we're looking for is what? The kingdom. We got to go through this hell in order to get there, right? We got to endure in this shit in order to get there. Okay. What did it just now say? What's this verse 5? It says, "Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad?" You got to go through the narrow. You got to go through the shit to get to the broad, man. All right. Meaning, the wide open field. You got to go through that narrow straight gate. All right. It says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set. I'm at verse. Oh no, I better go read verse 6. It says there is also another thing. A city is built and it's set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. Now you can read this same city in the book of Revelation. Okay, in another video I may do that, but I'm just going into this a little bit. All right, but you could read the same city in the book of Revelation. Okay. Okay, it says verse 7. It says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. When you look at fire and water, what do? You use heat and water, right, to clean things. You want to combine those two. This is why you don't really use cold water to like wash dishes. I'm sure some people out there do. If you use bleach, I guess it's fine. But the best way to do it is that hot water, not steaming, not hot to the point you can't touch it. But I'm talking about that hot water. You got to use hot water, right? What is the best water? What is some of the best water when you have tap water? You want to know how you purify that? Heat, boil it, right? And it will boil all the bullshit out. Now, it's not like mineral water and it has the minerals in it, so it kind of boils everything out, but it's better than that damn tap water, right? So that's how you do that. You need heat. Heat is very so what's going to come? What's going to burn this place? What happened before, right? When you had the ark. We know about the ark, right? What happened with that? Right? Before it was water, now it's going to be fire. Okay? So you got to look at this, and it's spiritual, because when you look at that, water, fire and water, when you look at this, so you're walking on that street, that real narrow path, and you got what did it say? You got between fire and water, right? So you got fire on the right hand and water on the left. And it's just like you gotta walk through that, but that shows purification. You gotta walk through that purification, but it's so narrow, but you're being purified on the way there, right? So that's very spiritual, man. So you just imagine you balancing yourself. You're trying not to fall. You got fire on your right, water on your left. And it's just like you walking through that, and they're purifying you. So when you come out on the other side into the broad, you're purified. Right? Ain't that something? That's crazy, man. It says, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. You know what this kills? These other nations like talking about waking up a whole nation, right? Salakia. These other Israelite camps, Salakia, that's what I'm going to say. These other Israelite camps like talking about waking up a whole nation. That's not what this is talking about, man. This right here is talking about it seems like the complete opposite. It said this path is very narrow. Very narrow. Meaning a whole nation, it's impossible for the entire nation to understand this thing, man. It is very narrow. I think you people, you Israelite camps, you other Israelite camps, have missed this point. It is a very narrow pathway. Okay? Very narrow. And again, I seriously think you missed it. Right? It says, verse 9, it says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Right. So it's so narrow. So he said it's pretty much saying, if this beautiful city, again, that's talked about in Revelation, this beautiful city, that's given to this person just given to this man for the inheritance, right? If he didn't pass through the danger, how is he going to receive this inheritance? He's not going to appreciate it. He didn't go through nothing. He didn't pass through. He didn't go through no danger. It was just given to him. So pretty much you spoil them. So when you give, when you give people whatever they want, when you give somebody whatever they want, especially children and women, when you give them whatever they want, they get spoiled. Then they grow up. They grow up spoiled. This is the problem with a lot of people today. Again, the children, the women, and the children mainly are spoiled as hell because they're always being given, they're always being fed stuff, man. The women always being called beautiful and they're not, right? The only beautiful woman out here is the ones that's doing their very best, you know, to serve the Lord, man. Right? And if you come into this thing, if woman got a husband, right? You're doing your very best to please your husband. You know what I'm saying? And you're being godly. These women today's women, they consider them godly. And it's just like, well, are you serious? Right? That's nothing beautiful about a loudmouth woman. There is nothing beautiful about that. There's nothing godly about that. Right? So this is what's pretty much what, so you know what I'm saying? So that goes into that. So anyway, verse 10, it says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, right? Even so also is Israel's portion. All right. It says, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Abraham transgressed my statutes, then was the decree that now is done. Then were the interests of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. That is the entrance of this world, man. It says, for the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. Right. So he's comparing that time to even before this time, but this is also definitely talking about today, right? See, right before the entrance was wide and plentiful and made immortal fruit. Today, shit, man. I mean, the entrance to the literal entrance to this world is narrow, especially when you are put in the womb of Eve. You gotta worry about being aborted. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is narrow in itself. So that's really what I wanted to go into. Just don't look, we can't be looking for no free handouts to the kingdom, man. We gotta go through this, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta sigh and cry. We gotta sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done there in the midst thereof, man. That's what the Lord told us to do, right? That's what the Lord commanded us to do. We have to do that. We're sighing and we're crying and we are, you know what I'm saying? Right? So, Lord willing, you can read the rest of this, man. This whole thing is good, man. This whole thing is good. It talks about that, right? So anyway, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Shalom.